Good morning. How you doing? Also, congratulations on being first. Just about back to Utah? You know, I'm kind of surprised that they still have salt in Salt Lake City, considering how much we eat salt in America. We eat a lot of salt. Even the Cheerios have salt in them. One day we're gonna eat all of the salt in Salt Lake City. Then it's just gonna have to be Lake City. I have to go clean out my mug. I will be right back. Hey, congratulations. I have degunked the mug. Out of curiosity, what percentage of time do you spend away from home, like, in terms of, like, where you're staying, not necessarily just in the truck? Almost back to 40. I mean, considering now that I'm doing 2 streams a day, only a matter of time. Lucky in Helldiver. Well, today we're not doing hell diving, unfortunately. Today, we're working on something far, um, less involved with guns, I guess? Yeah. Alright. The distant sound of thunder threatens my power. It would be pretty funny if we lost power. It would be annoying, but funny. I'm gonna very quickly check the weather radar. Um, why is it so slow? Okay, so it'll be past in about an hour. I found a full Helldiver B01 armor and I'm so tempted to go broke for it. These are the kind of decisions that land you in my situation. Desist, Helldiver. Also, where is my captions? Speech to text is running. No, it's not. Why is speech to text not running? Oh, let me try this. Gaming. Cinema. Yeah, I connected my microphone after starting Coalescence, so it didn't reopen it. Anyway, we're not working on Coalescence today. We're working on something far wackier. What if you pull up to an interview as a Helldiver? If you came up in full like armor and came up with a gun, I think that they would be a little bit, a little bit worried. I had a lightning strike. I had lightning strike a big rig I used to drive, and it hit my CB radio antenna. Shorted out my radio badly. I can imagine. That would be terrifying, though. Never had lightning strike too close by. Indirectly strike me would be crazy. Back in my other job, when I traveled to a lot of different stations, I had an instance of thunder striking a tree quite close to me. See, that shit would terrify me. Thankfully, my antenna took the brunt and the radio took all the rest. I remember seeing was a flash of heat. It was a flash, heat, and Mr. Radio kept going on and off rapidly. Yeah. All right, let me get any type of here. Can I close this vault? Oh. Will that stay open? Apparently. All right, let's get this on screen. So, right now, I'm working on my tabletop RPG, which is named Burdened. And right now I'm designing the death saves. But I have a slight issue. And that, my dear friends, is probability. You see, the plan is that if you are incapacitated because you've been blasted, you're probably going to die without assistance, right? It is more likely for you to die than to live, which is the opposite of D&D, where you are more likely to live than die. Because in D&D, your death saving throws, you have a 55% chance to gain a death saving throw save. And you have a 5% chance to immediately resuscitate. I do not have any critical success. I only have a critical failure. Now that OBS is open, I can show you some stuff. Why do I still have Why do I still have the? As I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted, you are more likely to fail your death saving throws than to make them. We're gonna ignore that sound. That's a good sound, I'm sure. Um, yeah. It turns out that a lightning strike causing a short power interruption interrupts only my main computer. It kills my main computer and none of the others, which is kind of funny more than anything. Um, I think we're still online. Um, are we still online? Can you hear me? Anything working? I think it's working. I see the microphone indicator going crazy. Captions are off, but that's because I haven't entered my password. Don't they just hit the roof? We're gonna ignore it. The single most powerful thing you can do, ignore the problem. Anyway, I need to open any type again. It was absolutely annihilated by the thunder. Thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very disconcerting. Um, haven't seen anything from chat ever since the strike. I may not be connected to the internet. I actually don't know. Ideally, the UPS would be able to handle a 10-watt appliance, but you know, it was the cheapest one at Walmart. Um, YouTube seems to be on. Twitch seems to be on. Twitch didn't segment, so I'm going to call it a success that the stream did not segment. I'm going to quickly go and delete my game recording, which we're not playing a game today, but it records a file named game, which actually didn't flush at all. Slightly disconcerting. All right. Do a quick check to make sure I'm audible. Seems to be working. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, my window capture doesn't work. What the Sigma? Okay. I go to my main view. That is not the main view. If I go to the main view, oh dear, what have I created? Okay. Here is my page on HP. Also this. My page on HP includes information about the death saves. And the main thing that we're doing today is trying to I have to open it again. Trying to create a sensible death saving throw system. To that end, I have created some software to test it. So first, let's go through what it is. So you can see when you are incapacitated with an HP of 0 or less, you must perform a death save. This is like first draft text, so it's gonna be a little shit. But begin tracking a resource called Death Points that begins at 0 and another named Death Threshold that begins at 10. On your turn, roll a d6. For every 10% of your maximum health points you are under 0, rounded down, roll another d6. If the result is a 1 or 2, subtract 1 from your original result to a minimum of 1. For every allied creature that has helped you since your last turn, roll a d6. Rolls a d6. Roll a d6. No, every allied creature, Every allied creature that has helped you since your last turn rolls a d6. If the result is a 5 or 6, add 1 to your original result to a maximum of 6. And you add death points based on this table. So it is 3 is -1, 4 is 1, 5 is 2, 6 is 3, 2 is -2, and 1 is -5. Very punishing to roll a 1. And then essentially how it works is if you reach your death threshold, the negative death threshold, you die. If you reach the positive death threshold, you regain consciousness with 1 hit point. I think it's called health point, isn't it? No matter how damaged you were. And if after rolling you do not meet the death threshold, you reduce it by 1. So that makes it so that it can't take more than 10 turns, essentially. Because I had no damage threshold or death threshold reduction, and it is possible, and actually happens quite often, that it takes 45 turns or more to resolve the death saving throw, which is too long. So it is capped at 10 turns. You can only be down for up to 10 turns, at which point your fate will have been decided. In the edge case, that your death points and death threshold both meet 0, the death save is a success, and you gain 3 fortune. I'm not going to get into fortune yet. And then at any point, if you are brought to positive health points, the process ends. It just you are fine. So I wanted to do a little bit of statistical analysis, so I made an app to do that. Here is that app. So if I copy all of this into the C# interactive window, and I run dst equals new dst.test, this will test the death saving throws at different levels of advantage and disadvantage, essentially. So -3 is maybe you're missing 30%, or you're 30% under 0. 2 is 20%, 1 is 10%. 0 is you are down with 9% or less damage. 1 is 1 ally is helping you. 2 is 2 allies are helping you. And 3 is 3 allies are helping you, if you could believe. So the main goal of running this is to determine what are the chances that you die. So, with 0 people helping you, your chance of living is 39%. You are far more likely to die than live. It's about a 1/3. And it takes, on average, 6 turns to finalize, essentially. If you have that 10% overkill penalty, you are far and away more likely to die. You have a 1 in 9 chance of living. At 2, you have a 1 in 20 chance, and at 3, you have a 1 in 50 chance of living. So it's very important that you have people helping you. If you are injured above or injured below 0, and then for allies helping you, when you have the 0 to 9% range, you have a 3/4 chance to live. This one is 7/8 about. This one is 19 and 20. And then olive branches are the detection for the edge case of both the damage threshold and your damage, or both the death threshold and your death score reach 0. Which is possible. And you cannot actually do anything if it gets there, because it's impossible to resolve. That case is a special "you live anyway" case. Do we have any confirmation that the chat is working? Like, I don't know if it's working or not. We had activity, then we had a lightning strike, and now there's no activity. The lightning zapped the chat. I'm mainly just trying to make sure everything still works. It says I'm connected to to Twitch and YouTube, but I'm not sure. I guess I could just open it on my phone again. Yeah, I guess that works. Let's see. Open Twitch. Yeah, no, it is working. Cool. Wanted to be sure. I think this is the only time we've ever had a power interruption during a stream, isn't it? Huh. Anyway, so yeah, you can see it can never take up to 10 turns. Although 0 is a turn, so maybe it is 10 turns. Yeah, no, it is 10 turns. It can't take above 10 turns. There's no chance for it to be 11. Because at that point, the death threshold is 0, and you've already, your chance, your fate has been decided by them, essentially. So to go give a kind of an example of what this might look like, let's say that we are at -9 of 100 health, right? Then we would roll a d6. So I got a 2, so that's -2 actually. I have -2 damage or death score. And my threshold is 10. So not looking good. I rolled another 2. That's not good. So now my death threshold is 9. I've rolled a 3. This is not going well for us. So if I roll a 1, I die. Rolled a 3. We're really getting there. I have to roll something positive or I die. I rolled another 3. Cinema. Yeah, I only rolled negatives. That's crazy. So if we try it again, hopefully we can get resuscitation. Okay, so we rolled a 6. We have 3, and the threshold is 10. I rolled a 2, which is -2, so 1, and the threshold is 9. 6, so 4, and the threshold is 8. 3, so 3, and the threshold is 7. Another 6, so we get 6, 6, and I survive. I'll do one more. Just it's so we roll a 4, which is a 1. They should have all been aligned to the right one more space. I rolled a 2, so that's -1, and the threshold is 9. Space to the left. 3, so -2, threshold of 8. 1, so -7, threshold of 7, I die. So now let's do, for example, if I'm at -10 of 100, now I have penalty dice. So, start by rolling our penalty die. I rolled a 4, so there is no penalty. You have to roll a 1 or 2 for there to be a penalty. My roll is a 1, so I'm starting this with -5, cinema. Penalty die is a 2, so I will subtract 1 from the result I get down to a minimum of 1. I rolled a 6, so now I get a 5, which is -3 with a threshold of 9. Rolled a 2 on the penalty die, so we will take -1 to whatever we roll. Rolled a 4, so now we got a 3, which is -1. Penalty die is a 4, no penalty. Rolled a 6. 5, no penalty. 5 again. So we're back in the positives. Oop. 2, so we will take a -1 to whatever we roll. 4, so we take a -1 to 3. 5, no penalty. My die gone. 4 plus 1. If I roll a 6 with no penalty, I win. I rolled a 6 on the penalty die, which is no good. No penalty, but I don't get anything. I rolled a 2, so back to -1 with a threshold of 3. It's getting pretty close now. Penalty die is a 5. Roll result is a 6, which brings us up to 2. With a threshold of 2, we win. Which, once again, if we check our stabilizers equals -1, is a 1 and 9 that we survive that. So even taking penalties, we do actually make it. But it is very rare. If I do 2 penalty die, it might help. Case. I'm just rolling these in person. Now we're gonna say we have 2 penalty die. No penalty. 5. So we start with 2 points with a threshold of 10. 1 penalty. We rolled a 2, so this is a 1. -3 with a threshold of 9, not 8. Bad results. 1 penalty with a 6, so we do heal 2 here. 2 penalties. from a 6. It's not the worst, but we don't get the 3. That is pretty rough. 1 penalty. From a 4, we lose 1 point. We are slowly or slightly losing. 1 penalty. With a 2, we are dead. That is the danger of penalties. We could do a triple penalty. Just see how that goes. The chances of living are very low. 2%. But we're gonna try it. Triple penalty. 3 penalties. On a 2. The worst you can get is a 1, so hurts, but not as much as it would if I rolled a 4. 1 penalty. With a 2, we're dead. Yeah, that's how triple penalty usually goes. You can see a lot of rolls resolve within 2 to 4, and usually it's not because you did well. We'll try one more, just to fuck around a bit. All right, 1 penalty on a 4, so we lose 1 point. It is not the worst that it could be. 2 penalties on a 5. We still lose 1 point, but once again, could be worse. 1 penalty on a 4. We lose another point. Chat. Not looking good. 1 penalty. 3. We lose 2 points. We need something good or we're gonna die. 1 penalty. On a 4. We're dead. Yeah, it's just you get so many penalties. Ooh, another -1. No penalties. 5. We're up to 1 point. Positive for once. Not for long, I'm sure. 1 penalty. With a 1. Oh. Right, no penalty. A 2. 5. 1 penalty. A 5. We do live. One penalty. Need a 5 or higher. We got a 2. We're dead. Yeah, you can see having 3 penalty die. It really does make it hard. Here's one that we start positive with a 4 total after the penalty. 1. Well, we're positive. Penalty. 6, so we actually come up to 2. 2 penalties. On a, okay, well, we were positive. I rolled a 2. 2 penalties. 6, we do still live. 1 penalty. On a 4. Not looking good. 2 penalties. Yeah, no, it's a 1. So that's kind of just interested. Yeah, we're so boned. I got 3 penalties on a 1. I mean, that's about as bad as you can get. None of the penalties applied, but we're not exactly starting high on life here. Really not looking good. The fastest you can die is in 2 rolls. Unlucky. A triple 1. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. 1 penalty. I mean, we live. They're all high rolls, which means if I roll it again, it's going to be low. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Climbing our way back up. 1 penalty. Ooh. Remember when I said we were climbing our way back up? 2 penalties. We're probably dead. I'm not even gonna calculate it. We're dead. You need to get, if you get 2 penalties, you have to roll a 6. But they 1 above threshold hip deal. Yeah, essentially 3 penalty dice you do not live. Trying again with 2. Curious. 2 should be, I think, what is it? 1 in 9 to live? 1 in 20 to live. What did I get? I got a 5 with no penalty, so that's 2 points. Oh, I didn't. Okay, well, 4 points. I rolled all 3 dice at once, but I'm not doing triple penalty. 1 penalty. 1. Wow. No penalty on 4. No penalty on 6. Penalty. 4 is 1 point. Can still live if we get a 6. No penalty. 5. Oh, wait, no, we still win. Is it truly 1 in 20, though? Penalty. 1. Okay. Starting strong. 1 penalty on 6 is 3. 9. 2 penalties. On 6, we still regenerate 1 point. No penalties. 2. Not looking good. Didn't properly. 2 penalties. On 4, we're dead. 1 penalty on 5. 1 penalty on 5 is a 1. 1 penalty on 3 is a -1. 0 penalties on 5 brings us back to 1. 1 penalty on 5 brings us to 2. 1 penalty. 5 brings us to 3. 2 penalties on 3 brings us to -2. We're at what? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So 5 is our threshold at the moment. No penalties. 4. 4 is now the threshold. 2 6s. A 5 brings us up to 1 with 3 as the threshold. No penalties. On 6, we're live. 2 was the remaining threshold. Right? Hold on. Quick check. So it is possible to live 2. I lived 2 of my tests. 3, I don't think I survived a single one. So that's kind of like a good reason to heal people who are down, even if you can't bring them back up. You take this back so much. We could, for shits, do it 9. If you hit negative 100% health, you instantaneously die, which I need to write into the rules, but I have forgotten. We are going to do a quick fun test using the small dice for a 9-stage penalty. I have 7 dice in my hand. No, I have 9. Ooh, cool, I've thrown one. Okay. We have 10 dice. 1 for the actual score and 9 for the penalty. Just out of here. Let's see how long we live. Penalty die are always rolled first. Make sure I actually have 9. I do. 1, 2 penalties. On 2, so we start with a nice negative 5. It. One, 2, 3, 4 penalties. We can theoretically survive. Not with the 3, we can't. This die is so much heavier than the rest of them. Lighter die. Okay. We died. Came through. Right. With this. 1 penalty in 9. That's pretty good. And a 6. So we start with 2 points. Ooh. Slightly less good. We're guaranteed to lose points. Alright, so we lose 2. We're down to 0. We had 3 penalties on 5. 3 penalties again. On 5. Brings us to negative 2. 4 penalties. We're guaranteed to be... Okay, so that is a negative 5. Special is 10. 9, 8, 7. We are dead. What is this? I am testing out some mathematics here for my tabletop RPG, actually. So right now I'm fucking around with the... Here, let me show the... I just realized I haven't had the right thing selected. You haven't really been missing much. What? Oh, beam is broken. 1 second. I was on the right scene on my end, but because I had a power interruption, beam broke. So that is something to keep in mind for later. I've never actually had a power interruption on stream before. But essentially, this is my system of death saving throws. It is right here. So you can see, essentially, you have 2 scores. You have your death score and your death threshold. The death threshold starts at 10, the score starts at 0, and according to this table, you roll d6s, and add these values to your score. You are more likely to die than live. And for every 10% under 0 you are, so if you're at, let's say you have 100 maximum health, if you're at -10, you will add a penalty die, which will subtract 1 if you get a 1 or 2. And then allies that help you can give you a support die, which is if it's a 5 or 6, it adds 1. And it has to remain inside of the bounds of this table. So the idea is that by helping your allies, you can prevent them from dying. And I've done some good old statistical analysis. And here are the chances. If you have 3 penalty die, you have a 2% chance to live. If you have 2 penalty die, you have a 5% chance to live. If you have 1 penalty die, you have a 12% chance to live. If you have no penalties, you have a 40% chance to live. If you have 1 ally helping you and you have no penalties, you have a 75% chance to live. At 2 allies, you have an 87% chance, and at 3, you have a 94% chance to live. I'm currently fucking around with the idea of having 9 penalty die, which is the highest you can have. And seeing how long you live. You usually don't. So we're going to see how long we live. Have 2 penalties out of 10 die, or out of 9 die on 2. So I start with a -5 because if we go back to the table, any type isn't open. So I rolled a 2. I have 2 penalties, and the lowest score in the table is a 1. So, I get a -5. And I need to stop closing that. I need to do this. So -5. My threshold is 10. This is death score and death threshold. So after this, the death threshold will be a 9. So whatever I get now will determine whether or not I live, get closer to living, or die. Let's see. We have 3 penalties. We are guaranteed to lose score. 3 penalties on 4 gives me, actually 1, so I die. And I die because -10 is less than -9. So my score is less than the negative threshold, which means I die. Or less than or equal to the negative threshold, so I die. And then if your score gets to the positive threshold, you live. So if I roll without penalties, so just straight up rolls, 5 is a +2 on 10. 1 is a -5. Yikes. On 9. 1 again is a -8 on 8, and I die. Unfortunate. If I try this again, a 6. 3 on 10. 4 on 9. 5, which is 6 on 8. 1. We're back down to 1 on 7. 3 is 0 on 6. 2 is -2 on 5, not 4. 2 again is -4 on 4, and we die, despite having gotten so close. You are more likely to die, so this is not really surprising. 6 again brings us to 3 on 10. 3 brings us to 2 on 9. 2 brings us to 0 on 8. 1 brings us to -5 on 7. 1 again brings us to -10 on 6. We are getting absolutely blasted all of a sudden. These are no penalties. We're just getting very unlucky. 2 on 10. Okay. -3 on 9. There's no fucking way. Why are we dying so much faster when we have no penalties? These are just straight rolls. This is better than no penalties, mind you. Okay. -1 on 9. Okay. 2 on 8. Okay, back to 0 on 7. 4 is a +1 on 6. 4 again is a 2 on 5. -3 on 4. Okay, we're back to 0 on 3. 2 on 2, we win. It was a 5. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. The death threshold lowers because otherwise this could take a long time. Actually, I did some testing, and I think the worst case that I rolled in 1 million attempts was 136 rounds to resolve it, which is slightly long. Imagine how much rolling that would be. Like, we could do this with the threshold not changing. We're gonna try it with the threshold not changing. The goal then would be to get to -10 or 10. 3, -1. 2, -3. 1, -8. It's looking like it's gonna be a pretty quick one. 6, -5. 3, -6. If I could press the right keys. 1 kills us. Nope, we're up to -8. 6 to -5. 6 again to -2. 5 to 0. 6 to 3. 3 to 2. 3 to 1. 1 to -4. 4 to 3, or -3. 3 to -4. 3 to -5. We can die if we roll a 1. 4 to -4. 1 to -9. We roll under 3, we die. Alright, we have a -8. 2 to -10, we die. You can see why I wanted to avoid this. How many rounds is that? That was nearly 20 rounds. Or maybe it was 20 rounds. I can't be fucked to check. Yeah. Out of curiosity, if I just arrange dice. Actually, this looks like a success here. I rolled 9 dice. It was -1, 2, 0, 3, 5, 7, 10. Yeah, this is a surviving set. I just rolled 9 dice and then pushed them against the keyboard. Yeah, this looks like a death. We'll find out. Is -2, -1, -2, -8. Nope, -7, -9, -7, -6, -4, -6. It remains to be seen if we will survive or not. Probably not. There were a lot of 1s in this. Yeah, no. I rolled a 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 6, 6. And considering 3, 2, and 1 all lose us stuff and we're at -6, I don't think we win. -7, -9, -10, -15, -17, -27. Yeah, no. You do not win those. We probably live this one, actually. There's a lot of 6s. Okay. 1, 4. Yeah, which 1, 4, 3, 4, 7, 5, 11. Yeah. There's 8 and then 11. And then 12, actually. So you can see how it varies wildly how many dice it will take. Sometimes it's I mean, it could be as low as 3, I think. No, it could be as low as 2. If you get 2 1s, you just die. That's kind of how it works. We could try with an assist die. We haven't tried that actually. So the assist die is a 4, no assistance, on a 3, so -1. 1 and 6, so that's still a 2. The assist die was a 1, which doesn't do anything. Assist die was 3, main die was 4. Still no assistance has come through. Assistance. No assistance. No assistance. It has to be a 5 or a 6. This is our first instance of assistance. Whoever is rolling these assistance dice needs to run. They need to roll better. Most of the time that I have gained progress has not been thanks to the assistance die. Okay. Okay, so this is a +3. Okay, well this is a good assist because this prevented me from taking a 5 penalty. Seven. Snake eyes. Rough. Okay. 2 6s on the main die. Okay, we dodge a penalty of 5. 2. I actually don't know which one of these is the assist die. It went next to all of the other dice. This is a 5 and a 2, so this is a 7. 6 was assisted up from a 2. Up from a 3 brings us back to 7. Down to 5. Okay. Back to 7. Could get out. Nope. Is this our second time at 9? It is. Oh, well, we got an assist up to a 12. Yeah, so we never went negative except for the first one. But yeah, we took a couple ones. This is a pretty rough one. There's another one. And I think we dodged one. But you can see why I make the threshold get lower. Because with the threshold lowering, it cannot take 30 rounds. So 1, 10. We got a 5 on 9. Got a 3 on 8. Got a 4 on 7. Are not looking good, if I'm being honest. Mind. We got a boosted 6, which is unfortunately still just a 6. Boosted 4 is a 5, which is 2 points. Another 5 brings us up to 4. On 4, we win. So even though we started with a 1, we lived. So now, out of curiosity, with 2 assistance dice, No assistance on a 4 brings us at 1 for the round of 10. 1 assist on 6 does nothing, so we're at 4 on the round of 9. 1 assist on 3 brings us up to a 5 on the round of 8. Assist on 4 brings us up to 7 on the round of 7. We win. Yeah, so you are far more likely to live if you have 2 chances at assistance. -1 on the round of 10. There's 1 assist on 3 brings us up to 0 again on the round of 9. No assistance on a 2 brings us down to -2 on the round of 8. 1 assist on 3 brings us up to 4, which is -1 on the round of 7. Boosted 6 does nothing more than a regular 6. Boosted 4 is a 5. Up to 4 on the round of 5. Boosted 3 brings us up to 5 on the round of 4, and we win. Out of curiosity, just for fun here, we're going to run 9 assistance dice. Wow, that's a lot of 1. Ones don't matter for assistance, but there were 4 of them. I got 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 5. So this is a triple boosted. 6, so nothing changed. Double boosted. 1 brings us to 2 of 9. A quadruple boosted 6 does nothing more than a 6. Why is it that when I get the crazy amounts of assistance, I just roll a 6? 2, 3, 4. Another quadruple boost on a 4 brings us up to 6. Gives us 8 on a round of 7, but we live. The fastest you can recuperate is in 4 throws. So that is actually perfect. Or no, it's 3 throws now, isn't it? To be either a 665 or a 666. Triple boosted for a 3 is a 6. 3 on the round of 10. Have a double triple boost. Okay. 2 brings us up to 5. So 5 on the round of 9. If we get a 6, we get a perfect high speed exit. The triple boosted 3 or higher, we get the crazy. We didn't. We got a 5. Fortunate. 1 short of the fastest possible exit. The next one is surely going to bring. Actually, it is guaranteed to make us live. We also got 4 6s, so that is a 10 on the round of 7 that we live. This is basically me just checking. Wow, 0 assistance on 9 die is crazy, and I rolled a 1. Disaster. So a boost of 4 on a 3 brings us to a 6. I mean, it's pretty hard to die even with a disastrous first round when you have 9 dice that are bringing you gifts. Okay. 2 boosts on a 1 is still not a 1. Really, you just want to get at least 1 boost so that you're not going to get a 1. So we got 4 boosts. Actually, that's 5 boosts. So no matter what I roll, I will get a 6. One boost, 2 boost, 3 boost. And a 1 is still a 4. 5. Actually, a slow out for having this much. I'd have 6 bonuses. I have 7 bonuses, actually. I'm guaranteed plus to get a 6. Alright. I'm going to do one more round with 9 boosts. I want to see if I can get the quick out. 3 bonuses on a 5 brings us to 6. Four bonuses. You're guaranteed to at least get the 5. We did get a 6. One bonus. Okay, well, that gives us our 5 we needed, actually. And that gets us an 8 of 8. And the fastest possible out. So, that is essentially how the death saving throws work. I think that it's fine. Pending some playtesting. I think it could be a little slow. It still can take up to 10 turns, which is pretty long. But I think it's pretty straightforward. It's more going on than on D&D, that's for certain, but I think that it is not too much. Anyway, let's delete these 900 lines of comments. It's actually 300 lines. Comment data. Oh, another thing. You guys want to hear a funny? Your guy might be a little bit stupid. So, I sent VGen an email yesterday asking them to clarify their AI policy. And I didn't receive a reply. And today I received an email from Google, actually. And they told me, hey, we can't deliver this mail. We couldn't deliver it to help@vgen.com. Guys, VGen's 3rd level domain is not com. It is co. I wrote the wrong email address. So no wonder they didn't reply to me. They didn't receive it. Oopsies. They still haven't replied. I did fix it, and I know that they received this one because it gave me an automatic ticket acceptance message. But they haven't replied to my request yet. I'm mainly just trying to make sure that everything in Coalescence is all right. Because Vosk does use AI speech recognition, which I don't think is against the terms of service. They seem to be mainly against AI art and like music and stuff, which is good. Part of the reason I don't buy on Fiverr anymore is that they just allow AI. But I wanted to make sure and get their explicit blessing because it could be a problem down the line. Probably what I will do is not distribute speech to text in the base version of Coalescence, but I will release it as a free plugin to Coalescence. That way, the base has no AI at all. Because I know some people would prefer that. And asking people to delete shit is kind of weird. And also, because Vosk has a bunch of libraries it uses, it actually makes Coalescence significantly smaller for people who don't want the speech to text. Now, something like Clipper, I'm just going to put it in because it's not huge. Let's see. Yeah, the Clipper is 211 kilobytes. But Vosk, yeah, Vosk is 45 megabytes of DLL files. So it kind of matters a little bit more. Just a little bit. But yes. Question is, what do I want to define more? I should probably change the here, let's do this. Let's go back here and let's change the wording. If your health points reach the negative of your maximum health points, you immediately die without performing a death save. I will probably have to rename because that's a little too close to the D&D terminology, but oh well. Could name it something generic like Last Stand or something. But I feel like Last Stand is better for, standing people, but, hey. I do want to add a note about will points, which are an abstraction of this. Actually just heading will points. So one of the things that I want to capture in Burdened is the fact that not necessarily everything kills you if it takes you out of the fight. So for example, you might be convinced otherwise, which would be somebody either coercing you, or etc., which would prevent you from fighting, but doesn't kill you. So there's that. There's other things like maybe restraint would take you out of the fight, so a special type of restraint, or something. There's a lot of things it could be. You could be too drunk to fight, but it's not going to kill you. Well, I mean, probably would kill you. Alcohol poisoning is pretty serious, but I don't know. Like if you get hit with a tranquilizer dart, it's not going to kill you, but you're not going to be able to fight. Which I think D&D encapsulates more with conditions and kind of just the DM determines when you're no longer able to fight. But I want it to be more nuanced than that, where maybe you get shot with a tranq dart, but instead of immediately just fucking go in EP mode, you maybe you lose 50 points of your will points, which are an abstraction of not health but how much you can fight. So the way that that's going to work is a quick warning that will points only need to be tracked when something attacks them directly. Will points are or represent your ability to continue fighting yeah, I mean, we can make these better words later, but certain attacks may damage your will points rather than your health points. When your will points reach 0, you are forced into submission. You do not perform death saves when your will points reach 0. Your will point maximum is the same as your health point maximum. When you take damage, you take an equal amount of will point damage. Or you subtract an equal amount of will points. Likewise, when you are healed, you regain an equal amount of will points. Likewise, when you recover health points. I'm not yet 100% sure what will attack will points directly, but there is a class of magic that might be a little bit designed for it, really. Yeah, we start by disclaiming you only need to track it when something is attacking it directly. You may stop tracking will points if it reaches your current health points. But yeah, there's a lot of resource tracking in Bird End because it is a resource heavy game, but resources they explicitly tell you when they matter and when they no longer matter. So even the death saves, it says start tracking your death points and your death threshold. And once that is resolved, you no longer need to track these. Yeah. There is a note that you can be knocked unconscious instead of killed. So, put in a subheading non-lethal damage. Certain forms of damage may be non-lethal in nature. When these damage sources reduce you to 0 health points, you do not perform a death save. Instead, you remain unconscious until your health point maximum, or health point reach a positive value again. In this form, you are considered to be resting. So generally, in an hour, you're going to be awake again. I should mention this is very, very early in the TTRPG's design. I haven't done any playtesting. I mean, I just did, I guess. So not much is done or ready or defined. This has been a side project for me to think about, but I haven't actually put much pen to page. I did watch a Roll from the Hip episode where they played a game called Force of Extinction, which seemed pretty interesting. It is a very high lethality world, high theology world, high lethality world. And I thought it was very interesting. Their entire thing is like you only have 3 HP. In fact, everything has 3 HP. And you are significantly weaker than basically everything else. So you have to like make it through the city without dying, which I thought was pretty interesting. Don't remember what I was leading into, but it was a pretty interesting thing. Do I have a page on combat? Nope. Time to get to the wacky part. Combat. I have done some thinking. Not a lot of thinking, mind you, but some. I don't really need to define this. Combat order is determined by what stats do I have? I don't remember what the stats. One moment while I look at the stat list. If this is the right notebook. If it isn't, this might take a while. Chat, I have some bad news. The right notebook. I'm going to have to find the notebook. I was writing all of this in a notebook. You might say, this is why you use a notepad document. And to that, I would say, shut up. I don't like it when you're right. Okay. Need to go find it. One moment. Who bots came in while I wasn't here? Come on. How am I supposed to have fun banning them? I don't know where the notebook is. In that case, I thought it was. It was a blue book. Could be a one sub though. Judging by the fact that this notebook has absolutely nothing written in it, I'm going to assume that it's not the right one. Our story notes. Ah. Here we go. I found it. The character statistics. I probably should have put into any type a while ago, but you know what they say. Better late. That is all. Okay. So the way that this works, combat order is determined by a hmm, is it just gonna be a simple D20? It might be actually. Or maybe a D100 roll. I was going to do a D20 modified by the dexterity stat, but there is no dexterity stat. And in fact, the stat that was built to replace it, which is named finesse, does not very well translates to how quickly you draw your weapon, essentially. So it'll be a simple D100. In the case of a tie, the two or more combatants must roll again. This process repeat. I don't need to specify that. The process repeats until somebody wins. If you somehow all keep rolling the same D100 number, what the fuck? Okay. On each combatant's uh, turn, they can take 2 acts. This is essentially an action, but there's no bonus action. They're just both actions. Can you get 2 of them? Common acts include things like attacking, so like swinging a weapon or fist, using items or the environment, or loading a weapon, such as a crossbow, helping an ally, or we'll say or helping an ally. When a combatant is attacked, they may choose to dodge or block. Dodge uses the finesse stat, and block uses the strength stat. If the attacker's roll is higher than the victim's, the amount of damage is determined. Actually, the attacker rolls their attack die. I don't know what this is yet. I think I wanted to make it a D100. And the defender rolls a check against that attacker. The amount of damage received is dependent on the results. Table 3x3, please. Dodge. We'll say success or failure. Success. Dodge, block. Damage taken. On a failure with a dodge, you take 100% of the damage. On a success, you take 0%. On a block failure, you take 75%, and on a block success, you take 25%. We might change these numbers, but the idea is if you block, actually, I think on a failure, you take, I think it's 60%. I can't remember. I think I wrote this down actually. It is 60%. Actually, damage is reduced by 60%. So you take. So if you fail, you take 75% damage, and if you succeed, you take 40%. A dodge. You take either 100 or 0. There's a special type called resist for magic effect, which is the same as block. Actually, with resistance, if you fail, you do take 100% damage. And on success, you probably take 50%. Um, we will once again. This is heavily dependent on balancing and everything. Don't know yet. I haven't slept yet, but so that's why I'm a little tired. But what better time to make your entire tabletop RPG than when you're sleep deprived? Ah, I was supposed to say or casting a spell. That's what I was missing. Um, it goes straight from burden to my insurance information, which is now out of date. As I do not have any insurance. I should probably shred this. Anyway, uh, originally it wasn't a D100. The question I have is stats are on the range of 0 to 100. What are the range of checks? Checks are a D20, so this combat must be a D20. Because it is tied to checks. It's essentially a contest. So you attack with your I guess it's you attack with your weapons attack modifier. Or like a mace would have a strength mod. Although I am aware that this is starting to look a lot like D&D. I don't want it to just be D&D. Um so maybe we don't do that. I don't know. I do want it to be sufficiently different because I mean otherwise I'm just making a D&D modification. And at that point it's not TTRPG, it's just a mod. Although, to be fair, nothing in this world now is original. So I just don't like the idea of it being the exact same thing. I would like it to be relatively easy because combat, especially with all of the math, like the problem is the even with like the 3/4, right? That's not trivial to calculate most of the time. If I ask you what's 3/4 of 21, I mean you could probably guess it's 15, and you'd be right. Now how about 79? Now, the eagle-eyed of you might realize that's 60. What about 93? A little less easy, is it? I think it's actually 63, but um, nope, that's 2/3. Is it 73? I can't remember. Anyway, I mean we could do a little check in. 93 times 0.75. It's actually 69. You'd believe it. Um, it is 70 essentially. Awkward. Um, hmm. I'm not too sure how I want the attacking to work. It is pretty important, but I have been spending more time thinking about different abilities you might have. That in the spell list, which is going to be an extremely wild thing. I will say the spells are very powerful, but to the benefit of a lot of things, nearly everybody can cast magic. You probably can't cast magic as well as someone who is only doing magic, but you can. There's a lot of very weird shit in here. Anyway, I know it has been kind of a short stream. Okay, so the problem is, right, with these gremlin hours is I am usually EP as shit. And I feel like I'm not being as productive as I could be. So I might have to change my sleep schedule around a little bit to get a nap in after the main stream, I guess. Um just so I'm a little bit more rested for this. I am a little more arrested crazy. I actually watched a video. Um Somebody who wanted to get arrested, but the police wouldn't arrest them. It was an experience to watch. But anyway, essentially what I'm getting at is I am EP. I am very EP. I can't be productive because I can't think. So I'm gonna go the fuck to sleep. I do want to do more of these early streams. Maybe some of them will be gaming. Maybe I change my schedule around to do the gaming now because that doesn't require too much brain power. And then we do productivity on the late segment. I don't know. I just work here, man. And I don't I don't have any supervisors. So I'm going to go to sleep. Everybody, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day. Do we rate anybody? I don't think we do. Yeah. I'm not gonna rate anybody. I don't actually think anybody's still here. So, if you are here, what's up? But I am going to go to sleep now. Everybody, thanks again, and I will see you next time. Bye.